Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota, and I profess to make Arif Hasan extremely angry in our first segment. Just wait and see.
I didn't read ahead, so I have no idea what's happening. Sam already said I should stop typing during the podcast, so I'm already kind of ticked off. By the way, I'm Arif from Wide Left Substack.
And I'm Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings. 2 of the 3 podium spots in the bracket contest were bronze, and one of us doesn't even watch basketball.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talk's Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Hello, and welcome into our Thursday Minnesota Football
Game
Party
time
on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Yes, Arif, it's brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On NFL for $20 off your first purchase. It is Minnesota Vikings talk in live stream fashion every Monday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. And today we get into our top 5 Vikings targets at pick 24. No trade ups, no trade backs. We're locking in at 24. Who do we want? We're going to dig into small school prospects, always a good time, as well as the Vikings' top 30 visitors. And the Vikings could play the Steelers in Ireland. Color me intrigued. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first watch or listen today. And for your second one, of course, check out Locked On Vikings with Luke Braun. And of course, find our audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed. It's free. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Top 5 targets at pick 24. You know what that sounds like to me?
This is Minnesota Sports Rank'em, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, and it starts now.
Every time I get knocked back by the adrenaline of that song, it just floors me.
Okay.
It rattles me.
Easily impressed, Sam. That's what I'm gathering.
I have no life experiences. Let's start with number 5 on our lists, go around the horn, and then work our way to 1. So number 5, preferred prospect. I'm assuming you guys came up with this in order and not like just a random 5, but if it was just a random 5,
excellent assumption, Sam.
All right,
let's see how that plays out for you.
On the fly, come up with a 5, and let's hear it, Arif Hasan.
Number 5, Will Campbell. Is that? Can we?
My notes merely said within reason.
That's my number 1 was Travis Hunter. So I think we have different understandings of reason. No, I don't know. Probably Siobhan Revel, the East Carolina corner, who probably needs a little bit of technical seasoning, but has the athleticism and the tools to play in a variety of systems. I really like the aggressiveness with which he plays, which I think is kind of an important element of playing within this particular defense. So yeah, he's the number 5 pick I have for number 24, which I think by a lot of the big boards would be a reach, but he seems like a first rounder to me. I don't care.
Braun, that might be Braun's number 1. Are we going Revel? Like we're reveling in the pick, or are we going Revel? How are we going?
I don't know.
It's Revel, and it's Savon. You don't pronounce the H.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I've heard that a couple times.
That's not going to trip people up for the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's going to make.
We figured it out with Daniil, right? We'll learn.
We'll get there.
Greener, Bernard. Well, the national media never did figure out Daniil, though. I mean, that still gets a lot of Danels with the silent
Danels,
I.
Yeah. It's also Revel for me at number 5. I it's a little bit of a reach. Yeah, it's a little rich for 24, but I would still like it because I like the player a lot. I just think he's really good at corner in ways that I'm not worried at all about him having mostly played against, lesser competition. I'm not. Reports are that the injury are not anything to worry about at all. They're probably tanking his stock because he couldn't test, but you can tell he's an athlete. I don't think you need a 3-cone to tell that he's an athlete. Yeah, I like to pick. This is also the only first round corner that I've gotten to. I've mostly spent my time on like D tackles and like guards and stuff. So this could very much, when all is said and done, I could like somebody like Jahdae Barron or whoever better. But right now I haven't watched him, so it's Rebel.
Love Barron. Don't think Barron's going to be there. And I erred on the side of putting guys in my top 5 who I pretty sure will be there versus assuming someone like Jahdae Barron drops. My number 5 is Xavier Watts, the next Notre Dame safety to come along.
Sam is like a huge helmet scouter. I think we've noticed this.
Where's the Notre Dame tight end to go with him?
Says the greatest helmet anti-scouter of all time with his NDSU stereotypes, Arif.
What do you mean stereotypes? They're all bad in different ways. That's not a stereotype.
There's no winning this argument, so we're just going to move on. I don't know if Xavier Watts can defend the run at all. I'm not sure that he's got that in his makeup, but by gosh, he can defend the pass really, 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 really well. A lot of interceptions, a lot of ball skills. He's always around the play, doesn't give up completions. Free safety. I mean, he's not your box guy, but he's your free safety guy. He's your rover on the back end. I think the tackling can be taught. I think the discipline can be taught, but I like him. I like the ball skills. He's too good at that for me to pass him up, and you need a safety in the pipeline. So that's my number 5. Xavier or Xavier Watts. Again, another pronunciation we'll have to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
let's go to Braun, mix it up. Number 4.
Sticking at DB, I'm going with Nick Emenwari at number 4.
Love him.
He's I certainly get it. One of the kind of top 2 safeties here. And then I guess Xavier Watts, who I also haven't gotten to yet. But I get it. Great tested athleticism. Very importantly, didn't do the agility tests. Don't think he would have done excellent on them. I don't think it would still have been a 10. He has the biggest hang up for me on him is triggering downhill, which is really important for Flores. So I don't know if this is going to be a guy that the Vikings are as high on as everybody else is. I could see this guy going well before the Vikings. I could see the Vikings passing on him if he is on there at 24. But for me, he's 4th just because he kind of feels like a 1-for-1 Cam Bynum replacement, just like solve that problem. Even though he can't like trigger downhill that well and the tackling angles and stuff could be problematic. It's just takes some getting used to, some experience as you'd find with any rookie. So as far as rookie blemishes go, it's acceptable. So I would take it, but yeah, there's a few people I would like better.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I don't have either of those two in my top 5 at safety, or in my top 5, obviously as top 5 safeties. They'll make appearances, but I don't think I love either of them just because I want more versatility in the box presence. Emenwari is weird because I think you take a look at him and you kind of see that guy is a box safety, but that's just not how he plays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think what the NFL.com comp for him is like Jeremy Chin, and it's like I understand like physically why you would go there, but that Luke, your response is that's fair.
He hits like a wet noodle, like
and I can't. That's not for me. Within this defense, I think there's a lot of defenses where I would actually really enjoy a player like him. So neither of them are there. For me, my number 4 is a defensive tackle. It's Derek Harmon. I know, Luke, that you've watched him a fair amount. But I really like athleticism along the defensive line. It's just so significant in terms of projecting outcomes. He has that kind of athleticism to do pretty well. Now, we didn't get his testing, right? He ran the 40. He had like a 1.7 10-yard split, which is the closest we can get to an athletic score for him. But I think on the field, he demonstrates the kind of athleticism that you want. Another player that I think probably needs some technical seasoning, I think from a footwork perspective, leverage perspective, there's just a little bit of work there to do. But I think that there's just like a lot that you have to work with him. And because the Vikings don't have an immediate need at defensive tackle, but have a long-term desire to get better at that position, I think that he would be a good pick there.
Yeah, number 4, this guy comes from a little-known college. I don't think they're part of a conference. You can't accuse me of being a helmet scouter. Benjamin Morrison, Notre Dame. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think there might be a tad bit of value on Morrison because our GM loves injured guys. Mm-hmm. Morrison's coming off the hip, limited workouts. From what I've seen of him, I think he's one of those personality fits where teams are just going to love the interview process with him. And if you look at some of the advanced metrics, like targeted passer rating, yards per cover snap, he's like in a quadrant all by himself. He's up there with like Darian Porter is pretty close. He's better than Will Johnson in those regards. Some really special stuff there with Morrison. He's right there with Jahdae Barron, Trey Amos. So I like Morrison a lot, and if he's fallen, I would snatch him up. Need a cornerback.
It does feel like he could fall past 24. He could be like a trade down. You know, if you trade down, you're in the 30s. You pick him, that kind of guy.
This exercise, honestly, was greater reinforcement that the Vikings are going to trade back. Like a lot.
Yeah, I didn't love my options. Right.
Like it feels so obvious that they should try to trade back, but it also is like for the same reason who's trading up.
Right.
Well,
somebody who wants
teams that need other dudes. Maybe. Like there are going to be tackles, right? Like there are going to be tackles at 24 that the Vikings do not need right now. And there's kind of a dearth. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a dearth of tackles the further you get into this draft. So I could see teams that are tackle needy seeing a run on tackles in the teens, early 20s come around. Okay, we got to get our guy. We got to get Kelvin Banks or whoever, and they trade up with the Vikings. That would be the hope. But number 3,
we need someone to be really in love with Jackson Dart. We got to spread propaganda on shows like this.
True. Yeah,
we have to say only good things about Jackson Dart here.
Wow, Jackson Dart. Do you see that string of completions that he had that tied the NCAA record? That's incredible. You can't find that everywhere.
Incredible, record-setting college quarterback.
Yeah. Don't watch the Pat McAfee show for any just
that's just good advice.
Generally, that's good advice. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't go back and look at any recent stories. All right. So number 3, Arif Hasan.
Again, I didn't take this exercise too seriously, so I picked Jahdae Barron.
Right.
I think this one is maybe a little optimistic. I actually do think it's more likely than a lot of the mock drafts have him going like top 15 or something like that, like 15, 16, 17, it seems like. And I actually think it is likely that he'll fall just a little bit because I think when you take a look at the things that the GMs kind of want in cornerbacks, I think that he's just a little bit short in a couple of areas. Now, I think he's obviously a very good player, but I think when you're not like over 6 feet tall, when your arms are not 32 inches or whatever, you're going to fall. Because like a good example of this is like Trent McDuffie, who I remember mocking to the Vikings a lot in like the second round, and a bunch of people getting like really upset because he's so short and his arms are so short. And like that's why he fell to the second round, but he turns out he's an outstanding player. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Jahdae Barron, who I think is just very good at football. I think that his speed, I think he ran a 4.39 or something like that. I don't know that that's something I would rely on as much. I think that he's quite fast. I don't think, when we think of a 4.39 guy, he's quite as fast as that. But I think that he's very quick. I think that he's very good and he's very versatile. He can play the nickel. He can play the outside. He can play a little bit in the box. I think that you can ask him to cover a variety of types of receivers and he'd be successful. And I like the versatility for defensive backs within the confines of this particular defense. And he plays really strong, which I think is one of the things that we're missing a lot in this defensive back group, somebody who plays with a lot of edge. And I think that he does that. So I like him. There's some technical things along with everybody else I've picked so far, some technical things that you want to clean up in terms of like his tackling. He doesn't have as much experience in man. The experience that he does have in man, I think, was fine. But I like him.
Braun.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Barron. The only reason he's not on my list is because I don't know anything about him. It's Malachi Starks here. I'm still sticking with DB. He's really similar to Emin Wari for me. I think those two guys like blend together a lot to me, just in terms of the way that they play in their skill set. Like Malachi Starks feels another one like, okay, this kind of takes the Cam Bynum role, but he's not like this aggressive downhill trigger, very Flores-y type safety. But these are kind of the two guys that always get mocked to the Vikings. And that doesn't mean I wouldn't like him. It's just a different kind of vibe than what Flores has tried to acquire so far. Remember, he inherited Bynum. He didn't pick him, and then they didn't choose to keep him around. But it would, I think you could plug him right in and it would work out. And then you wouldn't have a world where like Theo Jackson's taking 60% of the snaps for you.
We love Theo Jackson, but yes,
but not like that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. My love for Theo extends beyond 60%. I'd be like an 80% guy.
Okay, same.
I respect that. Go get
yeah, let's mix it up a little bit. Number 3, Emeka Egbuka. I'm taking him. I'm loading up, and I'm going to get dangerous. I don't care if you have Jordan Addison around. Injuries could very well happen.
Well, a suspension is almost certainly
suspension is going to happen.
Yeah.
I would like to have weapons. I don't trust Rondale Moore's health. Egbuka can be a deep guy, slot guy, contested catch guy, number 2, number 1. Like he had 3 years at Ohio State where he played a bunch of different roles, and I think he's pretty good at all of them. Not a lot of people talking about him.
He is very good at all of them. He's, I think, a really outstanding receiver. Kind of funny that he's like a career leader in Ohio State receiving yards, despite never having led in a single season Ohio State in receiving yards. Which, I mean, like, take a look at who his teammates were. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But I like him a lot. Yeah.
Bunch of guys that played 1 year of college football and then declared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Just load up. Have a wealth of wide receivers, and maybe that'll keep Jordan Addison healthier too. If he's, if he's only playing 60%, I think I like Jordan Addison a lot. I like having 3 options. So number 2 on the list, let's go to Luke Braun.
It's Derek Harmon for me. This is my second favorite DT that I've watched so far. For all the same reasons Arif said. Works for me. I just think he's kind of generally good at stuff. Like he just is a very polished, like straight out of the box, ready to go player that there's not a lot of like assembly required. So I think you can just immediately put him into the rotation, relieve some of the pressure on some of the older D tackles so they don't have to play as high of snap counts. And then eventually when those guys depart, Derek Harmon takes over as the main guy. I just think he's a very complete package to me in a boring way. And I mean that in a good way.
Top 30 guy. He was in the building.
Yes.
I'll just echo it. He's my number 2 also. Led college football in pressures, and he was like 25% more than the next guy of interior pass rushers. 3rd in pass rush productivity. Excellent season last year. I'm with you. I like him. Arif, number 2.
I suspect we may all have the same number 1. My number 2 is Malachi Starks. So not a ton to add there. I like him, I think, a lot more than Inman and Wari because I do think that he has more versatility. I think that what's interesting is that he's not, from a testing perspective, he's not nearly the athlete. They're not in the same, realm. They're not in the same country when it comes to tested athleticism. But I think when it comes to taking a look at how quickly a guy gets to the ball, I think Malachi Starks beats him and Wari a lot. I think he triggers really quickly, right? It's like Kyle Hamilton running a 4.6. It's like, yeah, but he knows where the ball is going, and that gives him a nice head start. I think that this is kind of the thing that you get with Malachi Starks, who I think does hit a little bit harder and still carries that same coverage upside. So I like him a lot. I think that he's not as versatile as, the safeties that we're kind of used to in Minnesota, but he's a lot more versatile than some of the safeties, I think, in this year's draft. And I think that you get a lot out of him. You can play around with kind of moving him around. I think he's good. So we've already talked about him. He's my number 2.
Braun? No, you went. Okay, number 1. Has nobody mentioned Kenneth Grant? I'm just curious.
That's why I said I think we all have the same number one.
I thought about it, and it felt a little pie in the sky, so I didn't.
Oh, interesting. Now I'm really curious who your number one is.
But it would have been with a bullet my number one if I felt like if it was realistic.
His mock draft projection actually puts him below the Vikings in the majority of mock drafts, which I think is really interesting. So he's likely
sweet.
available.
Let's knock Revel off and bump everybody down then for me. I'll call Tyler Booker my number 2, Kenneth Grant my number 1.
Yeah, that's right. You love Booker, because
I love Booker. Yeah,
you're confident.
I don't care about whatever people say about movement skills. I think they're all full of crap. I don't think his movement skills are a problem at all. And anytime you see him like not catch a guy in the second level, it's like a linebacker backside of the play working over on like outside zone. Like you're never going to catch that guy. So I don't mind the movement skills thing at all. He's just a very good guard, immediate plug and play left guard. You're not doing this weird Blake Brandel, Michael Jurgens competition nonsense. Get that out of here. Get a real serious player in there. Tyler Booker wins that competition with ease for me. But for reasons I'm sure you guys are about to go into, Kenneth Grant would be my number 1 if it were realistic.
You guys think I'm going with Kenneth Grant. You might be wrong. Arif, make the pitch for Kenneth Grant.
Interesting. Okay, I'm really curious about this. Kenneth Grant, who I think is generally regarded as, just put him in at nose tackle and you're good. And put him in at nose tackle and you're good. But I think that he could do a little bit more than we typically expect classic nose tackles to do. I don't think that, he's got this outstanding like Aaron Donald type first step, but I do think that he's got pass rush upside in a way that I think a lot of people aren't giving him credit for because
he's impossible. That's the word that keeps coming to mind with him. He just is an impossible person. He doesn't make sense. How are you like 340 and moving like that, dude?
Yeah, it's great. Like, I think that's the thing that really like a lot of people don't like when you're watching or talking about him, don't understand that actually he's 340. Like you take a look at him and he's moving like a 295.
Don't believe the combine weigh-in, by the way. He's 340.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like what Pat Williams would always be like exactly 330 on the Vikings roster. And you ask him and he was like, yeah, I played at like 355, sometimes 360. And it's like,
like no shot.
And the thing is like, you take a look at those like numbers from like Bruce Feldman's freak list or whatever, and like the things that he does in a Michigan program that is known for producing freaks. Like I think they have a top 5 guy every single year, and he's got some like weight room records in there. It's outstanding what he can do. But yeah, he's a 340-pound guy that looks like a 295-pound guy. And if you think about him as a 295-pound guy, you're like, wow, he's really strong at the point of attack. I wish he'd get to the backfield more often. But now knowing that he's 340 pounds, his ability to kind of wreck stuff, I don't want to like, we're a live show on YouTube. I don't want to swear too much, but his ability to wreck stuff from anywhere from the 0 to the 5, I think is just really outstanding. And I think that you give yourself a lot of tools to solve a lot of problems when you have a player like Kenneth Grant.
I'm a Grant fan, and for the same reason I didn't put Barron on my list, I didn't put Grant because it felt too optimistic. So
as we know, I'm a lot more optimistic than you are, Sam. That's why I was
more pessimistic, but I think Arif, that you can agree that you want to have big guys that can move, right? So that for that reason, number 1 is Gray Zabel.
You were doing this just okay. I get it. You set it up from the all right. Okay.
I just watched him. I find him a 3rd rounder, but go ahead.
That's unbelievable. Gray Zabel, and this is
a couple of group chats where a bunch of people are like, hey, why is Gray Zabel ranked so high? So it's not unbelievable to me. There's a couple of people who seem to share this opinion, and also he has a bad helmet.
Folks, Arif Hasan swears by this metric. So, I mean, listen to this. Gray Zabel in RAS is 18th out of 1,730 guards all time, or since 1987. 18th. He's got a 9.9 RAS.
What test did he do, Sam?
The shuttle, where he was great, 4.6. The 3-cone, where he was great, 7.66. Vertical, 36.5-inch vertical, which is elite. Broad jump, 9.3, elite. Height, almost 6'6", elite.
Wow. Great workout, the height.
Workout monster, 5-position guy. Gritty Fargo product, Gray Zabel. Slot him in.
So I don't think he can play tackle. I think he's
a guard. He's a left guard.
He's a 3-position guy to me. I don't think he has a future at tackle in the league. And
He
part of
doesn't
that
need
is
to be.
because
He doesn't need to be.
Yeah, sure. His pass sets are just not good. He pass set that you need to reconstruct that from scratch. I think you need to reconstruct some stuff with his hands from scratch. Project comes to mind. For me, even though he played FCS, I don't actually care about that at all. He very clearly, like the athleticism you said there, you can tell. You can tell that he was very clearly an athlete that didn't belong on that FCS field and should have been among higher competition. But there's just so much construction to do. Plus, you're going to make him play at a position that he's maybe not as used to. I know he did play a little guard, a little center, but it was like spot duty. Like he didn't like hone it, you know. And there's just a lot of too much construction to do for me to feel good about him as a first round pick. That's why I put him like third, maybe second. Third might be harsh, but day 2 guy to me.
Get out the notebook.
The movement patterns of a guard and the strength of a center. I can't, as a first round guy, think about somebody without the kind of anchor that you need to be as effective at guard. And when I say movement patterns of guard, obviously he moves well for a guard. That's why he was playing tackle. But I think he's a lot more limited than a lot of the scouting reports that I've seen talk about him, or a lot of the hype around him is. Like, I think that he doesn't have the anchor to kind of be the kind of guard that you want pushing in the run, or, you know, doubling on a nose tackle and duo or anything like that.
I think that's what he's best at. I think he's best at like driving somebody. When it comes to like anchor versus like a bull rusher or whatever on the inside, I kind of have to see it. You just don't, it's just not going to be the same watching him at tackle. We'll do that against edges and then like having to like translate it. What about versus, you know, a Kenneth Grant type? But I feel like the one thing he can do is get hand on the shoulder, hand on the hip and move a guy.
I don't think that he's got the bulldozer capability, right? Like to get down and move a guy in the same way that you, maybe we're watching different games or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah. Cause I really think he does, but
yeah, I mean, obviously he moves really well for a guard, and within the framework of like continuously looking at players that could be Vikings fits, that's something that they've historically needed a lot. And a lot of the guards that we've liked over the years have had that, and he does have that, but I just think that he's not a complete package there.
This will be a great bad take anniversary one way or another, whether it's me or whether it's you guys. I've written it down in my notebook, April 10th. So for next year,
there you go.
We will have this available as we get ready for next draft. Great Zabel takes for bad take.
If we're doing this, I want to be abundantly clear. I definitely see the future for him in the league as an interior guy. Just
Sam, cut that part off.
Oh, no, there's no context to bad take anniversary, Braun. We don't tell the whole picture. I'm sorry. It's a gray area. You
can find worse from me. You can absolutely find worse from me from this draft. More extreme takes. I'm going way more all in on certain guys.
I'll work hard to unpack that.
When I watched Omar Norman Lott, I thought, I don't know if this guy makes a team. Okay, use that one.
And he's winning defensive rookie of the year.
And he was the most efficient pass rusher in college football last year.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Go look up what Mike Daniels has to say about that. Actually, Mike Daniels had a really great tweet about that the other day. Former Packer defensive tackle, that all these guys, these top production guys, only get there because their colleges are like built to just let them do anything, and then the second they have to be like part of a actual team, like constructed pass rush, they don't know what to do.
We'll get to Ron Johnson next, plus small school prospects and top 30 visitors coming up on the Minnesota Football Party. We're brought to you today by Game Time. Nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it is Target Center and the Timberwolves, Xcel Energy Center last night, 15 goals in a hockey game, or Target Field. A lot of venues in town to get great seats at, oftentimes last minute. Game Time takes all the challenge, all the difficulty, all the sweat out of getting good tickets. Find the last minute deals, get it in just a number of clicks, watch the prices tick down as the start time gets closer. I was looking at Twins tickets for the next homestand. Get in the door for less than $20 to almost any game in that homestand. You can save up to 60% on last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Peace of mind is so important when you're getting these tickets. You won't get scammed at Game Time. There's no surprise fees. There's a lowest price guarantee. Take the guesswork out of getting tickets with the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. All right, Minnesota football party rolls on. We'll welcome in Ron Johnson of the Ron Johnson Show. He's fresh off of a big interview with Tyler Nubin, former Gopher, current Giant, talking about Sierra, talking about year 2 with the Giants. That was a great interview, Ron. I would recommend everybody go check it out.
I appreciate it. Yeah, always got to get Sierra. Whenever you can talk about Sierra, it's a good day.
Got to give the people what they want.
Gotta give what they want. I don't know if you just saw her new music video, but Russell Wilson commented saying, looks like baby number 4 is on the way, the way she's acting.
Jesus.
So that was from her husband said it himself. That was his own message. So, hey.
Thanks, Russ.
Hey, they're in love. Ron, we got 2 weeks till the draft. 2 weeks till the draft. What's just gut check? How you feeling? You stay put at 24, trade back. What does your heart tell you?
Yeah. So I've been going back and forth in this, and I keep trying to get a little bit of like insight from what we're doing for our show, being at the stadium, doing the pregame show, then doing the draft show. Nobody's like giving me anything. Like everybody just kind of saying like we're holding tight. Like that's where they feel like they are right now. It's going to be holding tight at either 24 or dropping back. Maybe to 30-ish and staying, 30, 31, 32, but staying in the first round. If there is a jump out, the only way I see it jumping out is there's like 3 names that if those guys are gone, like miraculously, like there's not even, I don't see the Vikings wasting the first round pick just on a guy. I think they have their guys that they want, and then the minute those guys are gone, I think they're going to move on, So like you look at, what's his name out of Michigan, the D tackle, if he's possibly still lingering around, do they try to, make sure solidify they can get him? If they can't, if there's a safety they want, all that, like corner, if there's a corner they want. But if it's like, I'm not going to say a name because I don't want to hate on anybody, but if there's like a guy there, you're like, he'll be there in the 5th round. I don't see them even wasting the pick. So that's the tough thing right now. Like it's if they had 7 picks, I'd say, yeah, they're going to use this first round pick, maybe even trade up to go get somebody they want. But with 3 picks, you don't have a lot of leverage. So you got to mortgage your future, whether it's, hey, I got some 2027, 2026 picks. Do you want them? Can we get another first round or second round pick? Or can we get some second round picks if we give you our 2020 whatever first, plus your second and your third this year? There's some things they could do with some teams that have. And then I forgot the teams. I had the notes written down before saying we talked. Mm-hmm. But the team, I think Browns was one of them. Teams with multiple, a lot of picks in this draft and multiple first round picks. Like those are the teams to keep an eye on with, do they even need their picks, or would, it be better suited for them to kind of mortgage their future, or pick up their future and let the Vikings mortgage theirs.
Ron, what do you got?
Ron, I don't know when Coy Parrish is meant to come out, but since you just talked to Tyler Nubin, when Coy Parrish comes out, will he be a more highly touted prospect?
I don't know. You know what? I gut thought, yes. But where did Cooper DeJean go? What number was he?
Was he 2nd round or 3rd?
He was the 2nd round.
Was he 2nd?
Yeah, look it up.
Late. It would be late 2nd too.
So when you look at like Cooper DeJean as a cornerback,
40th, he was 40th.
40th, yes, the 2nd round. So when you look at Cooper DeJean as a 2nd round pick, you look at Antoine Winfield as a 2nd round pick. Like Tyler Nubin was a 2nd round pick. You know what I mean? Like I can't put Coy Parrish in front of Antoine Winfield. What Coy Parrish did, so some of the interceptions, two of them I think were Hail Marys. Garbage time. You could have just knocked them down. Most coaches have said just knock it down. He picked them off. So there's a little bit of that. Is he fully ready to get in the slot and cover guys? How many tackles does he actually make? Or was it just that he had 5 picks? I haven't seen a ton of like coverage lockdown stuff. I haven't seen a ton of like big time tackles. But he's also a freshman. So he's an 18-year-old playing against grown men. which means when he's 21, 22, can he be John Lynch, Jason Sehorn, a type of guy, Antoine Winfield? We'll see. I hate to go early on it just because I forgot the coach. Oh, Coach Flom. So Dave Flom, I don't know if you guys know who that is. For Minnesota people, you might know him. He was Eden Prairie's high school coach back in COVID when they went 32-0. I think ESPN did like a little 30 for 30 on them because their season, they were 32-0. And right before the state championship game, basketball got canceled. So they were not able to actually complete the season. And or it's either ESPN 30 for 30 or Fox or somebody did, or NBC. Somebody did some type of documentary on them, or E60 maybe, ESPN E60. So he was saying there was a kid from Edina. Name was Cash. I don't know if you guys remember this kid. 20 years ago, he said there was a kid from Edina named Cash, and he was the number one player in the country, quote unquote, as like a 7th or 8th grader. He ended up going to Maranatha and couldn't even get on the court in high school. So with that said, not to say that's Corey Parrish, I'm just saying I don't want to go off early like success, because I've seen a lot of guys have great freshman years and then something happens, they don't get to where you think. So no, right now, no, I would never put him ahead of Tyler Newman, Antoine Winfield. But he's good. He's good for a freshman. He's also trying to do the receiver offense defense thing. He has the half and half jersey right now. So maybe they're trying to put him in this Travis Hunter category.
Oh man. Yeah, I like how that answer changed as it went on. It really grew.
Yeah, it really grew. Yeah. It evolved. It went through some character development.
Yeah, he's a freshman. He could he be Travis Hunter? I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we're about to do a little bit of a segment on small school prospects. I just kind of want to know, Ron, about the process by which you can take a look at a small school guy and make it an educated guess that, not only can he jump up a level in competition, he can jump up 2 levels in competition and, be somebody that can compete right away, whether it is like a G5 guy like Quinyon Mitchell last year, or an FCS guy, or even like a Division II guy. Like, how can you take a look at these small school guys who are playing against guys that are going to be working at Lowe's next year? Right. And determine that guy, respectable job, just it's not the NFL, and determine that guy can hang.
Yeah. So what is Mount Union? What is that? D2? Yeah, Division III. So you got Pierre Garcon out of Mount Union. I had him with the Colts. I remember his rookie year, he came in, and that's the first thing they told me is like, he's raw. You got to work with him. You got to get him this. You got to get him that. So with that said, like Bill Belichick, we've seen him at pro days of players, and nobody was there but Bill Belichick, and everybody's like, that's such a Belichick move to go find a nobody and turn him into a Pro Bowler. So I think it could be done. What is it? Bilal? I forgot how you say his name. Kone. He's from Apple Valley High School. He's now like the 87th draft prospect. So, second, third round type guy, third, fourth round type guy. They actually, which is, I don't know why, but they have him higher than Justin Wally. I don't know if it's size. I don't know if his Wally got hurt, what it is, but that's a kid that went to JUCO. Nobody wanted him. He went to like Boise State. He went to Wyoming. And then I think he ended up going to Western Michigan. So now, after the Senior Bowl, he's considered one of the top. So it's tough to see who they go against, but that's what these 30 visits are for. That's what these workouts are for. I think coaches know what they can get out of guys based off the footage. Even the corner from was like Kent or whatever, last year's number 1 corner was from a small school. That's what scouts get paid a ton of money for. And I talked to what's his name, Chizen Oprah with the Vikings, and he's one of the lead scouts. And I asked him, I'm like, when you guys are looking at film, what are you looking at? And they do take that into consideration, Arif. They're looking at who are they going against? What has that person done against other teams? Is this team, got bought in to play Tennessee and get the brakes beat off of them? But how did that kid do in that game? They use a lot of factors for that. So no, I would not be scared off because of the school they went to. I think a lot of times we put too much into these D1 guys. And I mean, again, I'm not going to say names. I don't like bashing guys, but think about some of these guys out of, Georgia, Florida, Texas, and then they get to these NFL teams and you're like, I can't believe we drafted him in the first round. We could have got this other kid in the 5th round and he's a Pro Bowler. You just don't know.
Ron, I don't know what the future holds for Travis Hunter, but let's play this out. If the team that takes him, if he said he wanted to try and play both ways to some extent, and the team allowed him to try that, Play that out. Like what is realistic for a player to do if they're trying to play both ways at the NFL level, from a prep standpoint, from a meeting standpoint, from an install standpoint? Like how realistic is that for him?
It's realistic. I played tight end and receiver, and so I just had to go to both meetings. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot. It's stressful. It's you stay up a little bit later. You watch a little bit more film. But I would go to like the first 10 minutes with the Bears with the receiver meeting, and then I would go to like the last 30 minutes of the tight end meeting. If it was going to be more of a tight end heavy set day when I was the H-back, and then it was like, hey, you're going to be more in the slot. Spend more time with Daryl Drake. Rest in peace to Coach Drake, one of the best receivers coaches out there. I would spend 3 or 4 minutes just talking to Coach Wilson, which is Wade Wilson. He was the quarterback's coach there with the Bears. And then I would then go spend a little bit of time with the tight ends. And then I would spend 30 minutes with the receiver meeting. So it's just going to be him knowing his schedule for the week. I mean, he's going to be a first round pick. He's going to be the franchise type of guy. They're going to do whatever they need to do to get him going. I talked to one of the Gophers players too about technology. Christian Driver, Donald Driver's son. And I was talking to him about technology. I'm pretty sure the NFL is double what college is. In college right now, I mean, they have iPads, they have this tablet thing that they can get film on. Like, they don't even have to go over there and say, hey, can I get film? They just send a message saying, hey, can you load up the 3rd and 7s? And eventually, within a couple hours, they'll have 3rd and 7s loaded up on their tablet. Like, that's why it makes life easier now. So Travis Hunter, he's gonna spend more time getting that type of footage. But at receiver, honestly, my guess is they're gonna have packages for him. Like, he's not gonna be a true just every down like in college. I just don't see that happening. But I will believe this 3rd and 6. Hey, Travis, you're in. All right, back out, get some rest. So and so. I think but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially in the NFL when you talk about checks, because Colorado probably made it super easy for him. Shedeur probably made sure to tell him everything he needed to know when he was out there. A lot of their route concepts, it looked real basic. It didn't look like there was too much change in the routes, where, it depends on the team he goes to. Imagine him going to Kevin O'Connell. That offense alone with the choice routes and the coverages, then you got Flores with his crazy defenses. I don't think it would work in Minnesota.
Ron, next week, we are going to lock you in. Actually, we have 2 weeks, because if you come on the show next Thursday, and 2 Thursdays from now, that's draft day. We'll lock you in then to your prediction for the 24th pick. We'll wait 2 weeks. We'll give you till the 24th, but then we're going to lock you into your pick, and we'll see how you do. I think it's going to be a really compelling first round. Okay.
I think Napoleon Dynamite. I think or Uncle Rico. That's what they need to back up JJ McCarthy. Uncle Rico needs a shot. Yeah, I don't know. What is is it how are you guys? Are you guys doing multiple guys, or you get one guy?
You get one guy, right?
I'll come up with something to gamify it.
Of course you will.
Yeah. Well, we'll have it figured out by draft day, Ron.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to that. I got a couple names that I'm thinking.
Tyler Newbin, check it out on the Ron Johnson Show this past Tuesday. Locked on Sports Minnesota audio feed, Locked on Sports Minnesota YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, Ron. Good stuff.
All right.
We'll get into small school prospects immediately after this.
Game time.
All right. I want some names, and I'm going away from first round, and this is really selfless of me because I would have gone right back to Gray Zabel, but I'm saying in your guys' mind, Gray Zabel would be day 3 Flyers, small school pick.
Day go with this Flyer, Gray Zabel.
Gray Zabel, but
I said day 2. Relax.
This is our prospects of the day. Small school targets. I'm going to start, and I got to give my University of South Dakota guy some love. That's not my alma mater, but the college in the city that I grew up in, Vermillion, South Dakota. It's Coyotes, not Coyotes. Joey Lombard, center and left guard. 5-year career for the Coyotes. Didn't allow any pressures against Wisconsin. Got NFL size, 6'5", 315. Joey Lombard, let's go.
Nice. He was listed in the APT report as both Joe Lombard and Joey Lombard. Very annoying. Good for him.
Joseph.
That's going to mess you up with consensus board, isn't it? You're going to have to.
Oh, yeah. This is a classic consensus board problem for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you harm specifically. I love it. Good pick.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a couple of small school guys, right? Like I don't know if we're counting, G5 guys like Jackson Slater or anything like that. But if we wanted to go like to like, um, Arkansas State or William and Mary, I think that there are some really excellent players. There's like Charles Grant from William and Mary, I think has got pretty good movement skills. I think that he's just inside a couple of people's top 100. So we'll see if he's a day 3 guy, day 4 guy, or day 3 guy, day 4 guy, day 3 guy, day 2 guy. But his movement skills, I think, recommend him well to moving up several levels and being an effective player. He is long and tall, and it plays a lot of tackle. I think he's a fun watch. I think that there's probably work that you have to do with him, but he's great.
Yeah, so I went to my small school guy, Kevin Fielder. He has a draft guide that is specifically for only small school prospects. So he's my guy on this, and I asked him to come up with the most annoying hipster take possible, which is right in his wheelhouse. He came back to me with a tight end from Towson named Carter Runyon. This guy was an offensive lineman, and then in COVID, he decided to self-teach himself a bunch of weight loss techniques, lose 100 pounds, and move to tight end, where he ran a 4.8. So now I guess he's like a fast tight end. He still has a lot of the blocking technique left over from that offensive line time. He just doesn't have the bulk anymore. So he's kind of, I think he might have lost a little too much weight, but it kind of makes for a versatile package. He grew quite a bit into the role of being like a receiving tight end, and still with enough of the blocking chops from the time when he did play O-line where he could be that kind of Johnny Munt replacement. Although it's a bit of a stretch for the draftable part. I don't know if he's actually getting drafted.
He's the 25th ranked tight end in Dane Brugler's guide. And so
there you
go.
The
cutoff between having a scouting report and not having a scouting report, he is the first player listed without a scouting report at tight end.
I'm feeling Marion Flash vibes. That's all.
That would be a great test for the truck on draft day if they have footage of Carter Runyon.
Oh, they definitely do.
A couple other names. There's actually
he a Shrine guy. I think he was a Shrine guy, so they'll have footage.
There you go. Speaking of Shrine guys, Mike Smith out of Eastern Kentucky, a very like versatile Flores-y safety that might be like a day 3 type guy. And then somebody that actually has visited since I asked. He visited yesterday after I asked this question. Zoff Razor, the cornerback out of UTSA, kind of like he's like built like Tariq Woolen, but a little skinnier, man coverage kind of guy.
A lot of people have been throwing around Tariq Woolen's name for him. He's not nearly the athlete, and he's still an incredible athlete, which is just a lot to say about Tariq Woolen. Really?
Yeah. He's just like tall. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 33-inch arms, I think. Ran like a 4.3. So I feel like that guy's getting drafted.
He'll get drafted. But I think he's very much the like day 3 draft a RAS, kind of guy.
Yeah.
But UTSA Roadrunners, that's got to count as a small school, right?
Sure. I mean, they didn't have a program like
David Morgan's alma mater, right?
David Morgan, first draft pick out of that school, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then they had like a first round pick, didn't they? Like the next year,
like Davenport.
Davenport, yes.
Yeah, former Viking. Come on,
former Viking. I was gonna say Davenport, and I second guessed myself. I'm gonna go with Micah Kretzinger out of the elite D2, highly competitive GLIAC. They call it the GLIAC. With a lot of like Michigan, Ohio, Illinois area schools. Saginaw Valley State, Micah Kretzinger, 7 forced fumbles, 10 career interceptions, and he had 4 pick sixes in 1 year as a linebacker. I like statistical anomalies of guys that probably don't belong in the division that they're playing. I am a big fan.
That's the thing that I like. Anytime I'm watching like a small school person, like that's what I need. I need you to look. This is like, so Darius Alexander does not cross this for me in Toledo. He doesn't look like he didn't belong on that field. And so I'm like skeptical of him as like this first round borderline prospect.
That's why I was out on Shaquille Leonard at South Carolina State. Now, mind you, only like 3 of the games were available. So everyone was like, why is everyone happy about this guy? It turns out all of his like film that was available was like the worst 3 games that he played. Yeah, it turns out to be like an excellent pick for the Colts. But man, he did not look like he was not an FCS player. He looked like he was, you're a very good FCS player and not an FBS player that happened to be dropped in the middle of an FCS
like
game.
Second team all conference ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
All Sun Belt.
Marcus Yarns Alexander, running back out of Delaware. Yeah, pretty nice.
Oh, sure.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this question about top 30. A lot of the visitors got leaked on social media, including Max Brosmer, Gophers quarterback. Would it irritate you if the Vikings spent one of their valuable and rare draft picks in this draft on a quarterback? Would that bother you?
It depends on the quarterback.
Well,
unlike there's
to be
6
someone
that they have right now. No.
Yeah,
if you're drafting Jackson Dart in the first, I do backflips because that's a very good quarterback. But any one other one of those, probably not the move. But like a day 3, like just try to Jaron Hall this again because you do still need have him compete with Brett Rippon. That's your quarterback room. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, that's fine. If they trade down, right? If they trade down and grab a second round pick and then use their second round pick on Jalen Milroe, who now is, I think, getting first round steam now that he's been invited to the draft, which sure. Yeah, why not?
I kind of think the Browns are going to do it. I don't know. I get a vibe.
That would be so funny.
Trade back up with the Vikings to 24 and pick Jalen Milroe.
I just I think that, of course, do that. I just think that if the Vikings draft somebody like him, there are better first round running backs that you can get besides Jalen Milroe. I think that you don't have to spend, that that pick on somebody like a Milroe. So I don't know that there's a lot of quarterback scenarios where I'd be super upset, but I would like them to address cornerback and guard with a higher degree of priority unless something unique happens.
I think I'd be a little bugged. You're
it's
not
an important
position.
Not
a place for a position.
It's not. The third quarterback is not important enough to take in the 5th round.
I don't trust Brett Rippon to go into a game and Josh Dobbs it for us.
They're never going to play.
He's
there's no scenario where you would play your third quarterback. There's not.
The hope is that he beats Brett Rippon, but I mean, I don't know. The random Devy quarterback is fine to me. Compete, hopefully be the backup.
I don't know what 6th rounder you're expecting to immediately come in and play, Sam. Not everybody's Olabisi Johnson.
Greater likelihood that you're going to get contributions. Okay, let's do a little live research here. Better likelihood you're going to get contributions from a day 3.
You are more likely
at any other position.
You are more likely to see any other position. You're more likely to see snaps from a 6th round receiver than you are from a 6th round quarterback. That is true. The snaps that you get from that 6th round quarterback, whether they're Joe Webb or Tom Brady, those are the 2 options you have, are going to be more valuable on average than the 6th round snaps you get from your Stacey Coley, who I think is actually a 5th rounder, but I think it drives the point home.
I kind of think there's never a bad time.
Oh, 7th. Yeah, I was thinking about Rodney Adams. Yeah.
There's never a bad time to just throw a Nate Stanley at it. Just see. Take a flyer. It's too important of a position.
Blake Brandel is a starter on your football team. Josh Metellus is a starter on your football team. Jalen Naylor is going to be your wide receiver.
2020 is cheating. Okay, they had 25
early in the season. Will Reichard is a star kicker. Marcus Epps is a starter in the league.
Are you just looking through the history of Viking 6th round picks?
I'm not looking that far. These are all pretty recent picks. All pretty recent picks.
Yeah, man. If you only focus on the hits,
where else are you going to get Bucky Hodges's? They don't grow.
And where else are you going to get Zach Davidsons and Jalen Twymans?
David Morgan.
You cannot find Brian Cole II anywhere.
If you took Texas San Antonio the thrill of a draft pick, had you not taken David Morgan, how you would have given? Who else would have given Germany, their chosen son, Moritz Boringer, the honor of being a 6th round draft pick if you don't take him there?
I would say my dying day support that idea. Would have done it. that dude was a super athlete.
Yeah, actually, it's actually really difficult to emphasize how good of an athlete Moritz was. But yeah, I would say that
Colby Gassettes don't just grow on trees. When you get one, you gotta.
If we only looked at successful quarterbacks, I think that this would look really good for my point. What are we doing here if we're only looking at successes? Hey, where else are you going to find a Tom Brady? Come on, dude.
John Sullivan. You could be taking John Sullivan.
Okay, how far back? Okay.
I will say there's a dearth of good ones between like 2010 and 2018, but recent history is pretty good for 6th-round picks.
To take this back to like reality,
that will continue.
Well, like what you expect from like a 6th-round pick to me is like backup or special teamer. So yeah, you're sacrificing like a Trent Sherfield amount of like at best. You're sacrificing something like that. Or I would say closer to like a Ty Chandler, guy who's going to be a special teamer on your team for 2 or 3 years and then eventually like not make the team someday. Like that's kind of what you get from a 6th or a 7th rounder and like as a median outcome. And 6th and 7th rounders not guaranteed to make the team. So yeah, I think for me that apply that same expectation to the quarterback. Okay, if I'm drafting you on day 3, I expect you to eventually win the backup job. Right? Like somebody like Jaren Hall didn't work out because he did not eventually win the backup job. So expect a little more than that. If there's anybody in this class that you feel like you can get, if you feel like Max Brosmer will win the backup job someday, spend a draft pick on him. If you don't, then yeah, that's probably as bad as it is for anybody that doesn't eventually win a backup job and ends up off the team.
All right. You argued the point well. I respect it. Just not as many outcomes or like not as many avenues for the quarterback, right? Because if you're any other position, you can play special teams, right? You can be a valuable member of those units. Maybe you can even switch positions. Like you're a defensive back, you can switch positions. You can move outside to inside. You can try different stuff with where do they fit? Like, let's put them in a spot where they fit. Doesn't quite work the same way with quarterback. That's why I'm more negative.
Well, I mean, you could always find like a Taysom Hill type, right? Which obviously those grow on trees.
Yeah.
You want to I stand corrected. You're right. I was wrong.
Yeah,
wait,
right.
So here's a question for you, Sam. Let's say Jaren Hall wins a backup job in Seattle and Seattle starts shopping Sam Howell. Would you throw a 6th-round pick at that as a backup quarterback, assuming they didn't get anybody else to be a backup?
Sam Howell?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got a great name.
He got a great first name.
Great first name. He's proven a lot more than anybody coming out of the draft because he's like actually started a game or he's like actually played in the NFL, which you can't say for.
Yeah, so that would be a little more information. I mean, maybe fine. I would not be happy about it. I wouldn't be throwing. Love it.
Do we think Brady Cook could beat Taysom Hill? His workouts were actually a lot better than I think a lot of people expected. Sorry, I don't
know who Brady Cook is, but just by the name, did he play at Notre Dame?
Close, Missouri.
Okay. Geographically, not that far.
Yeah, physically close is what I meant. Yeah.
The in closing, the Vikings could be playing in Ireland against the Steelers. Arif, are you going to be there? Are you going? You getting your tickets right away?
If they do, yeah, I'm going to make Norse Code pay for it again, and James will try to attempt to travel internationally again and fail. And they'll be there. Yeah, for sure.
Braun, you going?
TBD. I thought the scuttlebutt was that this was going to be the Packers, but it's one of their road.
So that was the scuttlebutt, and I heard from someone in the know that actually that's not going to happen, which leaves it to just like only 2 teams, the Vikings and the Seahawks, I think. So
your 2 teams, Arif.
God, okay.
Thanks. I'm just trying to get a football party live remote going, like at the Jameson factory in Ireland. I think that'd be sweet. I think that if we all agree to go, I think this could happen.
Wait, can we get Locked On to pay for it? Maybe that way we can avoid the James curse of not being able to travel internationally.
I think it'd be
I have not been able to successfully do this.
It would be easier sell if Norris Code paid for you, Arif.
At the very least, you can claim it on taxes. That was clutch a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Inman will commit, but then he'll end up in like Slovenia. Like he'll end up in the wrong. Yeah.
End up shooting craps in a casino and somewhere in the Iron Curtain.
He'll win a new worse computer.
I found a great deal on Slovenian Craigslist.
Logs into Slovenian R lads.
Explodes. Minnesota Football Party. We do this Mondays and Thursdays. Care 11 Crew on Wednesdays. Ron Johnson Show on Tuesdays. That's the lineup at Locked On Sports Minnesota. Thanks for watching, listening, commenting, and subscribing. He's Arif. He's Luke Braun, and I'm Sam Ekstrom. We will talk to you Monday. Peace out.